Order, calling me. All right, we're all good. We're gonna start off with a moment of silence. Thank you. Safety announcements by Curtis Moses.
Good morning, board. Eric, public. In the event of an emergency, we'll exit out the door to my right. You'll continue going through the lobby, cut across the tarmac, and we'll meet up on the corner over here on Channel and Sutter. In the event that this egress is blocked, we have a secondary means of egress. We'll go out through this door and continue going through the lobby. We also have a high defibrillator located in the back. We also have a first aid kit located in the lobby. I am first aid certified, and I'll be the one that contact first responders. Thank you. That concludes my safety contact.
Thank you, Curtis. We will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance by Aaron Edwards. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. Information on public comments. The public is encouraged to comment on each agenda item as it is presented to the RTD Board of Directors. All public comments on the items not on the agenda will occur under agenda item number 11. Number 7, reports. Oh, my bad. I skipped over that. Hey, I'm still new to this.
Erica looking at me.
I was.
You can interrupt me. You're a leader. Next time interrupt me, say chair, just interrupt me. Sorry about that, Erica. I apologize.
Vice Chair Milan,
Present.
Director Edwards,
Present.
Director Fox,
Present.
Director Tafoya.
Present.
Thank you.
I'm good to move on now, right? All right, awesome. Apologies about that, okay? So information on public comments. The public is encouraged to comment on each agenda item as it is presented to the RTD Board of Directors. All public comments on items not on the agenda will occur under agenda item number 11. We'll go to reports. Number 7, Acting Chief Executive Officer update by COO Eric Williams.
Good morning. Good morning. Greetings to our board chair, Derek Grace Jr., board members, San Joaquin Regional Transit staff members, and retirees. And then lastly, our community partners. Before I begin, I want to express my sincere appreciation to our partners throughout San Joaquin County and this great state of California who have reached out over the past 2 weeks with words of encouragement, support, and recommitment to work with this administration and new board. Your messages have meant a great deal to me and to this organization. Today, I want everyone to know one thing. I got multiple things I want you to know, but one thing I do want you to know for sure is that San Joaquin Regional Transit District is still standing, and we haven't gone anywhere. Yes, we have faced our share of challenges, and yes, we have taken some hard punches over the past several weeks and months. And yes, we did experience a major cyber attack back in 2024, but our staff continues to remain resilient. Despite the challenges we face, the transit buses are still operating. Our engines are still running strong, and our mission remains clear and within reach. I'm going to say it one more time. Despite the challenges that we face, the transit buses are still operating. Our engines are still running strong, and our mission remains clear within reach. This administration remains committed to providing safe, reliable, accessible public transportation, which will not change. We are moving forward together with determination and accountability and a renewed focus on serving the people of San Joaquin County within this great state of California. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you our operations leadership team. This is kind of last minute, so some of them are not here. They don't have to stand, but I want to certainly give a shout out to the operations leadership team. Again, I'm not asking them to stand, but it's important to recognize these longtime team players. First is John Van Camp. John Van Camp is our maintenance superintendent, who has been with this organization for 12 and a half years. Now, John is very passionate. He's very passionate about his work. He and I have had many passionate conversations. So if you say anything about RTD, John Van Camp, he's going to defend RTD. So I love John Van Camp, and I'm just glad to have him still here with RTD. Then we have Damarise Galvin. Now she wears many hats. She is Director of Planning, Mobility and Customer Experience, and she has been here for 20 years. And this gentleman has her beat by 2 years. That's John Coos. He's our Facility Superintendent. And then last but not least, we have LaShonda Nelson. She's our Transportation Supervisor, and she has been with us for an amazing 34 years. These are our subject matter experts within operations. These are seasoned transit professionals. And I have nothing but the utmost confidence in these team members. And the community is truly in good hands. Now to our transit riders. Unfortunately, in the previous administration and board, which was prior to February 24, 2026, there was 2 separate occasions in which that leadership at the time requested bus operators to stop working and encouraged them to come down to the SJRTD headquarters down the street to protest an issue. And on another occasion, to come down to this building to protest an issue. While this creates stoppage of some of our transit services. I want to say to any transit rider that was impacted by those events that on behalf of San Joaquin Regional Transit District and myself, please accept our apology. You are valued customers still to this agency, and as the acting CEO, I will never instruct our bus operators to stop work for any reason. Again, please accept our sincere apologies for any inconvenience that was caused to you either indirectly or directly. Now, RTD continues recovering from the February 24th cyber incident that resulted in loss of our enterprise financial management system and historical accounting records. Financial information has been reconstructed from source documents. Internal controls have been strengthened, and multiple regulatory and audit activities remain in progress. I'd like to also recognize our information technology team who have worked diligently since the cyber attack to reinforce our IT infrastructure. San Joaquin Regional Transit District also experienced a complete new board as of February 24, 2026. And I look forward to working with them, working with each of them. I'd like to also recognize Board Member Donald Tafoye for taking the time to accompany several members of the operations team and me on a recent visit to Santa Cruz Metro. This was a fun day trip, while John Van Camp was our designated driver. But during our visit, we had an opportunity to meet with their operations team, as well as representatives from Monterey Salinas Transit, to learn firsthand about their experiences with zero-emission bus technology. They provided valuable insight into challenges, lessons learned with zero-emission fleet. Based on their experiences with zero-emission buses, both agencies have chosen to move forward with hydrogen fuel cell technology. This was very helpful as we continue to explore the future of our fleet inventory. Now, here are my immediate executive priorities. Number one on top of the list is to complete all outstanding external audits. That's number one. We have no choice. I shared this priority with Mr. Ray Tellis, our FTA Regional 9 Regional Administrator, along with Deputy Regional Administrator, who both met with me here yesterday to discuss several matters. I would just say that our meeting was very positive and enlightening. Mr. Tellers expressed his desire to work with our agency and provide FTA support and guidance. And I reassured Mr. Tellers that we are still on target to complete all of our required external audits. I also shared this priority with Diane Nugent of SJCOG, and I will be periodically providing them updates on our progress. To continue with my priorities, I've listed complete financial recovery, resolve FTA triennial review findings, protect existing grant funding and maximize reimbursements, including completing all capital projects, maintain compliance with federal and state funding requirements, fill critical vacancies, maintain compliance with federal and state funding requirements, preserve organizational stability and public confidence. Now, this other priority is very important to me, and that is to improve relationships with SJCOG, Rail Commission, Stockton Metropolitan Airport, Port of Stockton. I also want to mention the a few cities that include Stockton, Lathrop, Manteca, Lodi, Escalon, Mountain House, Ripon, and our many other partners throughout San Joaquin County in California. I want to be clear when I say that I am committed to rebuilding and maintaining our relationships with our neighbors. When they win, we win. When we win, they win. Continue with my priorities, continue reliable transportation services. And the last I have on my priority list is to our valued retirees. Thank you for your years of dedicated service to San Joaquin Regional Transit District. This administration will be taking a close look at your retirement program to ensure it remains financially sound. I know you're passionate about your retirement. I get it. And we are committed with this endeavor as well to make sure it's well positioned to meet its commitments for many years to come. Our goal is to safeguard the retirement security and that you have earned through your service to this organization. I ask that you be patient with me during this process. I assure you that my team will continue to make this one of our top priorities. And that you have my word. Pending reimbursement requests are expected to replenish approximately $14 million previously advanced from San Joaquin Regional Transit District reserves. Several grant-funded projects are operating under final grant extensions, making project execution and reimbursement recovery immediate executive priorities. Coordination among finance, grants, procurement, operations is essential. Executive oversight includes monitoring funding reimbursement status, project milestones, compliance requirements, extension deadlines, and cross-departmental coordination to ensure successful project delivery, maintaining regulatory compliance, and safeguarding funding that has already been awarded. Now, recovery of the accounting records remain the task for completion of San Joaquin Regional Transit District financial reporting. Remaining work includes completion of reconstructed trial balances, restoration of timely monthly closes, completion of delayed financial statements, and continued strengthening accounting controls. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the finance staff who have been working overtime and including the weekends to assist with this, with many of these mandatory tasks. And I do want to acknowledge Virginia Alcalde, our former director of financial planning, who is currently serving as our finance consultant, and her expertise has been invaluable to our team during this financial recovery. She thinks she's going to leave after this consulting project, but I'm not letting her leave. She's going to stay here. But I want to thank her for her service. and what have you. So multiple audits are remain underway, including the annual financial audit, the single audit, the National Transit Database reporting audits, and related financial reporting. Close coordination with external auditors will remain a priority. RTD previously received a draft triennial review report, and this was a conversation that I did have with Mr. Ray Tellis regarding the triennial. Most of these findings relate directly or indirectly to the cyber incident and resulting financial recovery. Immediate priorities include review of draft findings, preparation of factual comments where we deem appropriate, development of corrective action plans, and timely submission through OTRAC. As previously communicated, an independent forensic accounting firm has been engaged to evaluate historical financial matters, reconcile analysis with reconstructed accounting records to provide objective findings. As mentioned previously, this will be made available to the public. We want to be totally transparent. Management continues evaluating multi-year financial planning, operating and capital funding strategies, reserve planning, innovative clean transit implementation, and grant optimization and long-term capital replacement needs. Approximately $14 million in anticipated grant reimbursement is expected to replenish San Joaquin Regional Transit District reserves. Timely project completion directly supports liquidity. Significant improvements have been implemented in procurement, compliance, automated approval workflows, financial review procedures, accounting process, grant documentation, and compliance monitoring. Additional enhancements remain underway. Now, also, I want to mention that the board has no check signing authority. I want to make that very clear. The board has no check signing authority. As I mentioned earlier, San Joaquin Transit District has experienced complete board turnover, regular education, communication regarding financial condition, regulatory obligations, audit progress, and recovery milestones will assist the board in exercising effective oversight. San Joaquin Regional Transit District remains subject to significant stakeholder and public interests, and communications should remain factual, transparent, consistent, and focused on measurable recovery progress. In closing, San Joaquin Regional Transit District recovery is being managed as one integrated organizational recovery program linking financial recovery, audit completion, grant administration, capital project execution, staffing, regulatory compliance, and governance. We have made meaningful progress despite unprecedented challenges. Continued success will depend on decisive leadership, disciplined execution, strong governance, effective communication, and sustained focus on completing the financial recovery while positioning San Joaquin Regional Transit District for long-term operational financial stability. Now, before I close, again, I would like to provide you the post-COVID ridership through May 2026. System-wide, as you'll see on the screen, system-wide weekday daily average ridership increased steadily from fiscal year 23 through fiscal year 25. Then it began to level off in fiscal year 26. The chart covers, you'll see the chart covers fiscal year 22. It includes service changes, school breaks, and seasonal impacts. Now, here are some of the key points to keep in mind. Ridership improved significantly since July 2022. The daily ridership data is 5,965 in July 22, and it reached multiple months above 10,000 by fiscal year 25 and 26, with the highest point shown at 11,172 in August 2025. Now, fiscal year 24 and 25 you'll see it appears to be the strongest recovery years in service improvements in July 2023, and you'll see January 2024, January 25, and July 25 appear to correspond with higher ridership levels. And this is especially where frequency and weekend services were expanded. The recovery, when you see those dips, those are, we feel are tied to school breaks, summer, winter, Thanksgiving, fall and spring breaks. So this suggests that RTD weekday ridership remains meaningful, influenced by school-related travel patterns. Fiscal year 26 is performing slightly above fiscal year 25 on a comparable from July through May basis, and you'll see that the growth is kind of flattening. And fiscal year 26, July through May, averaged about 10,166 riders compared to 10,031 for fiscal year 25 from July through May, an increase of only 1.3%. We'll take it. But overall, the post-COVID ridership data shows that we have made strong post-COVID ridership recovery, with fiscal year 25 appearing to be the strongest growth year, and fiscal year 26 shows signs of stabilization rather than rapid continued growth. As we continue on this journey, I will ask each and everyone that are present today to continue to support this agency. We need your support. I also ask that we all be kind to one another. Again, I ask that we all be kind to one another. I would like to leave you with a quote. This individual was a larger than life fixture in the automotive industry. His name was the late Lee Iacocca, for those that remember him. And as a kid, for some reason, growing up, he was one of those individuals I always wanted to meet. But Mr. Iacocca developed the Ford Mustang, and he also developed this ugly car called the Ford Pinto. Anyone remember that? The Ford Pinto? Okay, for Ford Motor Company. And then one of his biggest accomplishments is when he eventually went to revive Chrysler Corporation. And he had a quote, and I'm going to read that quote to you. And the quote reads, "Never walk away from failure. On the contrary, study it carefully and imaginatively for its hidden assets." I'm going to read that one more time to you. Never walk away from failure. On the contrary, study it carefully and imaginatively for its hidden assets. There's a lot of layers to that. The agency will not walk away from failure. We will face our challenges together, whether you're a mechanic, bus operator, porter, finance analyst, payroll clerk, or human resource staff member. This administration will not fail you. Thank you. That concludes my update. I look forward to leading this agency into the future, protecting San Joaquin Regional Transit District interests, and providing exceptional customer service to our transit riders and partners throughout San Joaquin County and this great state of California. Thank you. That concludes my report.
I think we should give it up for that one. Come on, give a round of applause on that one. That was a hell of a report. Oh man, thank you. So thank you, Eric Williams, our CEO, COO, and acting CEO. I didn't say that before. Acting CEO. In a short amount of time, you've done such a great job, and that was a great report as well. I appreciate you updating everybody. So we're going to be moving on to agenda item number 8, information items. Written reports are provided for information only. Staff will be available to answer any questions. So we're going to start off on number A, marketing update, but we do have a public comment from Carl E. Nate Knott on the marketing update.
Good morning, Board and Acting CEO and public. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to mention that from what I understand from the agenda, this is a written report from the staff to the board, but no public presentation coming. I do appreciate this ridership graph. That's the first time we've had some data in the last couple of months, I should say. I want to say that it's been traditional to have marketing reports made to the public, and having no public staff report does leave the public a little bit in the dark about what RTD is doing to attract ridership, as the previous interim CEO made what I thought were very harmful and unfair comments about empty buses to a large public audience with no presentation of data and no presentation of any action in which to try to attract ridership or any actions being taken to improve the transit district. RTD's recently lost its long-term marketing and outreach manager, who suddenly resigned a couple weeks ago, and I see no job posting for that position. So I'm not sure what RTD is doing in the way of marketing and updating and research. I do, again, appreciate this graph. I'll have more comments about that later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Staff, do you guys think anybody present anything from marketing update? We're good? Okay, we're gonna be moving on to financial update. We have another public comment by Nate Knott.
I forgot to mention Nate Knott, 1021 West Acacia Street here in Stockton, and a proud rider of routes 578, 40, 540, 520, and Hopper routes 4 and 5. And I'm on the bus today, and I rode the bus exclusively yesterday to all my events. I just want to mention on 8B, it says financial update. I want to mention at the last board meeting, the entire fiscal year budget apparently was passed during the consent calendar. That's usually historically a major presentation done to the public with a spreadsheet and graphs and charts with projections of cash flow, operating costs, ridership, fare revenues, grants that will be coming in, grants that are waiting. None of that was presented to the public. Entire fiscal year was passed with no real public comment or no real public exposure of what the budget has in it. Now, one of the things I would wonder is how are we going to cover the student ridership that is free, because that's covered by LCTOP. But as will be pointed out later on today in the state legislative update, LCTOP funds are at risk. The public has no idea how we're going to cover student fares if LCTOP gets reduced. The ridership here is a nice simple chart. It does not include route by route ridership. It doesn't include ridership by type of service, such as BRT Express, SMA Local, Metro Hopper, County Hopper, weekday versus weekend. This is a weekday chart, actually. It doesn't show how that relates to the level of service being provided or what the operating costs are versus for the ridership. $17 million is being used apparently from reserve funding to get through next fiscal year. That will use up any reserve funding I'm aware of that RTD has. How do you get past beyond the fiscal year and the next fiscal year? How much cash does RTD have in the bank? Since Mr. Williams talked about his history, I'll mention the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1951, which is the largest transportation corporation in the world, and they had no cash flow chart. Well, lo and behold, over several years, the Penn Central Railroad, its successor, had the largest corporate bankruptcy in American history in 1970 because of poor financial reporting and accounting and not being transparent. So you need cash flow projections, which I haven't seen given to the public in the last several months or for the upcoming fiscal year. How can you have a fiscal year budget when you haven't done the calculations for the retirement plan? There's been no retirement plan meeting since January. No actuarial report has been produced. We have a new labor agreement at 4.5% increase, but how does that contribute to the pension plan? And how much retirement pension plan is unfunded at this time? That should all be part of the fiscal year budget. And the fiscal year budget was passed in consent calendar with no public report and with no planning for the retirement fund. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be moving on to item number C, state legislative update, presented by, updates prepared by Shaw Yoder. No oral updates? Okay, so we're good. Awesome. Moving on to item number 9, consent calendar. We are going to go with Item number A, motion approving the minutes of June 16, 2026, special board of directors meeting, board approval minutes.
There's 3 items on the consent.
All on once, okay, yeah, and also number B,
Public comment.
we don't have any public, oh, we actually do have more public comments by Nate Knott. Sorry about that. And 9B, and got a couple of them. Awesome, let's get to it.
Well, after working here for 17 years and leaving several years ago, transit has been my lifelong passion, so I read the board report pretty carefully. So as far as item 9A, and this is a minor comment, I'd want to mention that it's listed in the agenda that that in the minutes that there were public comments made, but the public comments do not mention anyone by name or a summary of what they said. I just want to mention normally public comments do provide a small summary of the topics and the items that the speaker spoke about. Thank you.
Nate, just go ahead and stay right there because you're for 9B as well.
Nate.
You're 9B as well, and this is public comment on that. Go ahead.
Also very simple comments. And I appreciate that when I say this, I want to say I appreciate the fact that the board is educating itself in transit and representing RTD. I just want to mention though, that in the graph that's listed where it shows the proposed travel for the board members on one particular event, which I believe is APTA, it shows 3 board members attending that event. I want to caution you that may be a violation of the Brown Act, having 3 board members at the same public event in which you're talking about transit operations, and you may be looking at transit equipment that RTD may later be trying to purchase, that even intentionally or unintentionally, 3 board members comprising the majority of the board being at the same major public event that involves transit business could be a violation of the Brown Act. So just make sure you take a look at that and review that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not. We'll be fine. As long as we're not talking about. Yeah, anyways, we will go on to another public comment for Vincent Cotino.
My name is Vincent Contino. I'm the ex-business president, business agent of Amalgamated Transit Union Local 276. I am concerned that the board travel does not appear to be evenly or strategically distributed amongst the board members. If travel is intended to build knowledge, strength, oversight, and help the board members better understand the transit industry, then the public deserves to know how these assignments are being made. It is notable that some members appear to receive repeat travel opportunities while others appear to receive none. Gianna Moray is listed for 5 trips and Edwards for 4, while Derek Graves and Donald Tafoya do not appear to be assigned any travel. That raises a fair question. Is the board travel being planned to support the development of the entire board, or is it being concentrated among only a certain number? I am also concerned that 3 of the 5 board members are scheduled to attend after Transit Forum in Chicago, which would constitute a quorum. Given the existing public concern about the board's understanding of the Brown Act requirements, sending a quorum to the same conference creates an avoidable risk. Even if no violation is intended, the appearance of a potential violation can further erode public trust. Before approving the travel, I asked the board to publicly explain the criteria used to assign travel and how the travel supports RTD's governance and oversight needs. While some members are receiving multiple opportunities while others receive none, and what safeguards will be in place to provide Brown Act concerns when quorums, attention, and some events. Board travel should be transparent, purposeful, and entirely connected to the public intent. All these members are new. They don't know anything. I'll be honest here, that's my opinion. They need to be all going to these not all at the same time, but different ones for each individual. So as a group, they'll have the knowledge, but to send 2 people, 3 people all the time and alienate the remainder, it's not going to work for RTD. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to address these comments in the narrative that's trying to be put out there, what we do is we all put in our dates because we get sent out a calendar of availability dates for these events. Or what do we call? Yeah, events. So we can all attend, and everybody up here, if they are available, because we have normal lives as well, they go. So the 2 people that you stated, they're available those weekends, and then the other ones aren't. And if they are available, we'll make sure everybody can go. It's not oh, only you 2 could go kind of thing. You get what I'm saying? So we want to spread the wealth. We all want to get the knowledge. And also, it is not against the Brown Act for all 5 of us. We can all be at a public place at the same time as long as we're not discussing RTD matters. Okay, so just for you guys to know that we could be at the same place at the same time, birthday parties, anything. But once we start discussing things that are going to be put before this board or agenda items, that's when it's a violation of the Brown Act. Yes, please.
Okay, I think I'm on. I also wanted to point out to the public, and the board knows this because we've talked about it in our Brown Act trainings, there's a specific exception in the Brown Act for attendance at conferences. And so you can have a quorum at a conference. It's not considered a Brown Act violation as long as you don't talk about RTD business, as Chair Graves just mentioned. So I don't think there's a Brown Act violation for 3 of you to go to APTA.
Do you think or do you know?
I know.
Okay, awesome. All right, we just want to make sure that we're keeping ourselves accountable and the public accountable too. No unfit narratives need to be saying out here we're all from Stockton or we all have Stockton's best interests. It's that simple. I would like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar. Item number 9.
So move. I make it, I second that.
I don't know.
Yes. Director Edwards?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Action item number 10, authorizing the act. Well, do we have any public comments on this? No, we don't. Authorizing the acting CEO to negotiate and execute a contract with the MTM Transit LLC pursuant to request for proposal RFP number 25041S for access to San Joaquin Mobility Management Services for a total amount not to exceed $2,763,292. That's a lot of numbers. I don't got that much money, so yeah, I haven't done that one yet. For two-year base term with 3 one-year option terms, and in the form approved by legal counsel, board approval, and contract to MTM Transit LLC, presented by Devers Galvin. Yes. How do you say your name, ma'am? Damaris Galvin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you and good morning, everyone. Mr. Chair.
Hold on, can we get our mic on? Erica, can we support her in getting it on?
Working? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank
Okay,
you so
good,
much.
Good. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the board, public in general. And this morning, I would like to present to you this item. This item requests the authorization for the interim CEO to negotiate and execute a contract with MTM Transit to administer the Access on Joaquin Mobility Management Services Program in the amount of $2,763,292 for a 2-year base term with 3 one-year option terms, allowing RTD to continue fulfilling its responsibilities as a designated Consolidated Transportation Services Agency or CTSA of San Joaquin County, This contract supports one of the most important countywide mobility programs in the region, serving seniors, individuals with disabilities, veterans, and other transportation disadvantaged residents through San Joaquin County. In 2018, the San Joaquin Council of Governments, SJCOG, designated RTD as the Consolidated Transportation Services Agencies for San Joaquin County. The purpose of the CTSA is to improve coordination among transportation providers, reduce duplication of services, maximize available transportation resources, and improve mobility for seniors, disabled, veterans, and other transportation disadvantaged populations. Access San Joaquin is a county-wide regional partnership involving RTD, SJCOG, cities of Lodi, Tracy, Manteca, Escalon, Ripon, Lathrop, and Mountain House, and community organizations working together to improve mobility throughout the county. As a designated CTSA, RTD administers and oversees the program. Our responsibilities include contract administration, financial oversight, performance monitoring, compliance, reporting, and coordination with regional partners. The contractor performs the day-to-day administration and activities of the program under RTD's oversight. The contract administers several countywide mobility management programs that include ADA complementary paratransit eligibility certifications, travel training, discount fare card, access card, the My Ride program, customer assistant, outreach, and program reporting. These programs are essential for seniors, disabled, and veterans, for them to access employment, education, healthcare, shopping, and other essential destinations, while promoting greater independence and improving mobility throughout San Joaquin County. To continue providing these services, RTD issued a request for proposals, an RFP, on April 30th, 2026, through competitive procurement process. Two proposals were received, MTN Transit and RideTrans. The proposals were evaluated by an evaluation committee consisting of RTD staff and representatives from the participating CTSA jurisdictions, using the evaluation criteria established in the RFP. The evaluation criteria included project understanding, staffing and experience, work plan, and price. Following completion of the competitive procurement process, MTN Transit was identified as the recommended proposer to award the contract. Funding for this contract is provided through local transportation funding, LTF, designated specifically for the purposes of the CTSA and allocated by San Joaquin COG. Approval of this item will ensure continuity of these important countywide mobility management services, while allowing RTD to continue fulfilling its responsibilities as the designated CTSA for San Joaquin County. This concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. You guys have any questions?
Chair, just have one question. How you doing, Dan?
Hello.
Question, this went through a full RFP process.
Yes.
Did the board have anything to do with the RFP process?
No, it's a procurement process. And correct me if I am wrong, Thomas, this is a procurement process. Yeah.
Okay, just putting that out there because that's been a narrative out there that the board is a part of processes, steals money, is so forth, so forth. So I want to make sure that the public knows that the board had nothing to do with this RFP process and that this was staff and staff recommendation. So am I correct on that?
We went through the process. There's an evaluation team that was confirmed by RTD staff, but also with the jurisdictions that are partners under CTSA.
Okay.
And we
Thank you.
follow the process.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions, board? Thank you so much for the awesome presentation.
Thank you. So at this point, I request your approval for this item.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion to approve.
Second that. Vice Chair Marat,
Yes.
Director Everett,
Yes.
Director Funk,
Yes.
Director Topoya.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will be moving on to item number 11, public comments. And the first person we have up is Vincent Contino for item number 11. If you, public comment for item number 11 that you filled out to speak.
First public comment I want to make is, this item that you just passed. For a long time, RTD did that work in-house. And I don't know why we're contracting it out. The union gave you guys a discount on the labor rate, and that work should all be brought back in to RTD. It should not be contracted out. You're paying management to that sends money outside the county. It doesn't stay in the county. And another thing that bothers me, this board wasn't informed about it. When does the tail wag the dog? You guys are in charge. You should have had some input in this thing. And that's the first thing I want to say. I mean, it's too late. You guys approved it. It's out. But next time, you guys need to seriously think about keeping that work in-house, part of RTD. And that's why you're going to have problems with outside agencies. If you keep letting them pick off your work and you keep giving your work out, RTD is going to be irrelevant. It's not going to have any relevancy. Because why should we go through RTD when we can get Harry over here to do something not quite as good, but they can do it. Now I'm going to the other comment. My name again, I'm going to introduce myself and I apologize for ratting. My name is Vince Contino, former ATU local president. At the last board meeting, I did not feel the public was given the open discussion these issues deserve. Two significant items, the adaptation at FY 2027 budget and the decision to share designated receipts responsible were approved without the level and explanation, debate, and transparency the public should expect from the board. These were not routine matters. These were the budget. That should have been made much clearer. They directly affect RTD's financial direction, public accountability, and the community confidence in how major decisions are made. The budget raises serious concerns, particularly the approval of an average 10% increase for non-represented employees after a compensation study had already placed salaries at the market level. That decision appears difficult to justify and raises questions about whether public funds are being used responsibly at a time when RTD's financial plans already appear unsustainable. The decision to share designated receipt responsibility with the city of Lathrop is also significant.
Thank you. Time's up.
The reason I'm almost done.
3 minutes is up, sir. Last public comment for item number 11, Carl Nathan Knotts. Nate Knotts. How do you say your last name, sir? Is it not? No, I'm asking. Is it not? No? Don't? Okay.
Paul's my legal name and everyone knows me as Nate, but.
How do you say your last
I throw it
name?
all out there so everybody knows who I am.
Not?
Yeah,
is it-
not. It would be connote in German. Thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so not is Americanized from about 100 years ago. As stated public at the previous RTD board meeting in May, I strongly urge this board not at this time to make any positions permanent. I know we have acting and interim, that's understandable. But I want to see a track record of success in employment before we make any permanent decisions about executive and administrative staff. RTD must clear the findings of 4 audits, a triennial review, and they must get through this year with a very strong fiscal challenge to see how the performance actually comes out. I don't think you can document any administrative performance in anything less than 6 months, which would take us to at least 2027. Most executive and several administrative positions have been filled in a rather hasty manner without job postings, without listings of without the job being posted, requiring listings of education, prior job experience, prior transit experience, performance at those jobs, and without posting jobs online and without an interview, without a review period, without an interview period, you're also possibly squashing opportunities for equal opportunity and diverse employment. And that's standard how things have always been done. I printed out today's job postings. The only jobs posted by RTD are civil engineer and price controls manager. The last meeting I was at, roughly the same thing was posted, and it was said publicly that all these other jobs are posted, and they weren't. So I want to set the record straight on that. There's no job postings. There's no mention of an executive job search for CEO, COO, CFO. There's no mention of possibly replacing a marketing manager who isn't here at a time when comments were made about empty buses. I do appreciate the comments about the ridership today. I appreciate the clarification of the Brown Act on going to major events. I really appreciate that. But I want to see standard practices for hiring people. And then I also want to mention RTD has not explained in any presentation or conducted in public how certain federal funds were split between RTD and the city of Lathrop. So I have these questions. What is the basis and justification for this funding split? What criteria was used for the funding split? Did they look at population of the counties and the cities, the service levels by each transit district, system and route service ridership, key performance indicators, and how was all this, when and how was all this factored into a split with Lathrop? And why Lathrop and not Escalon, not Ripon, not Tracy, not Manteca, not Lodi? There's a lot of questions there. And then lastly, what documents were filed for this to happen? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We would like to we will move on to questions and comments by staff. Directors, anybody, any questions or statements?
Chair, I just have a couple. So I want to clear up some of the misconceptions that were said today. We did do job postings. We had job postings up for approximately 6 months for CFO, if not longer. I'm very tired of the narrative that's being put out there that we're not doing things above board. That's not true. Second, acting CEO, can you speak to the retirees that we are looking into making sure that that is above board and that everybody gets their comparable investment, because the narrative that's continued to be put out there is that we're not doing that and that the financial decisions that we're making is costing the retirees money, and that's just not true. And then third, I will go back to the item on check signing. This board has no authority to sign any checks. And that narrative has been put out there month after month after month after month that we're stealing money. And so I'm going to let the public know that I will be filing a defamation suit on any public member that continues to spread that narrative that we are stealing money. That is me personally, because I have a reputation. Each board member has a reputation. And if you're not going to get your facts straight, then please don't come up and speak. That is a forewarning. I'm tired and sick and tired of that narrative. And trust me, I have no problem seeing you in court, because I can back up everything that I say. Also, October of 2025, this agency had a shortfall. Not 2026, not with this current board. I explained to people before, please do your homework. $21 million was taken in October of 2025 out of the operating fund. Do your homework. I will not stand by and allow the public to continue to desecrate this board over and over and over again without consequences being had. So next meeting, if any public member says that this board is stealing money, says that we took any money in 2026, because by my recollection, we voted for in February and in March, we voted for $3.2 million for buses. We voted for $44 million for buses that we already had grant money for. And that was contracts. This board didn't take any money. This board didn't spend any money. This board didn't jeopardize any funding. I will not have this continue. Also, in March of 2026, we used $1 million grant to fund students for every sector of the city for free ridership. Know what you're talking about. I will not have this happen again. And this is me talking.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. That was really appreciated. Eric?
Yes, just getting back earlier to my statement to the retirees. Like I said, I'm committed to reviewing the retirement system, retirement program we currently have in place. I would encourage you to come out to the retirement meetings. I'll be there, and I'll have more information at that time. So again, my focus is retirees and making sure that we have the best program, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for us to discuss, to be transparent about the future of the retirement system here at RTD. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. And just to comment on what Director Edwards said, that I'm glad you brought those points up. We did approve $1 million. We did get $1 million grant. We approved that for our kids to ride free. All kids from whoever uses our systems. The previous, I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, so our kids are riding free and it was from a grant, right? It was from a grant. So that's where those funds are coming from. Also, I would like to commend and say thank you to staff for getting four audits underway, right? 4 forensic audits underway and for different things. Before that, previously, we didn't have an audit done for almost 3 years. Let that sink in, right? So in the new year, we have 4 new audits underway, and from 2024 to a little bit before 2024 to almost 2026, we didn't have not one audit, and they're required by law to do one every year. So I want to make sure we keep that energy for previous years. So thank you, and that's it. We will be moving on to the closed session. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and God bless. The closed session is now over. We will be going to item number 14. Number A, closed session report by legal counsel.
Thank you, Chair Graves. My closed session report is that the full board ratified the appointment of Eric Williams as the acting CEO while recruitment for a permanent position takes place. There will be a 15% increase in Mr. Williams' pay rate and car and technology allowances in the amount of $700 per month and $500 per month respectively. With that, I conclude my closed session report.
Does that count as item number B2 as well? Or is that a whole different thing?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Okay, awesome. So we would like to thank everybody who came out today, anybody who's watching. Thank you, board, for your awesome work. Thank you, staff, for your awesome work, and look forward to keeping RTD in a great position as it is and under the new leadership of Eric Williams. So
And sorry, I made a mistake. If we could, for item B, could we do an open session vote, please, on that 15% increase in the pay
Yes.
rate and the technology and car allowance?
thank you. For item number B, I would like to take a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
Chair Graves,
Yes.
Vice Chair Morone,
Yes.
Director Edwards,
Yes.
Director Funk,
Yes.
Director DePolia.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody watching, anybody who came in attendance today. Meeting adjourned.
Good job.